We come up with 5 IPs we'd like to see in Universal Orlando Resort's third gate on episode 304 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to yet another show, an exciting one we hope we have for you. So yes, obviously I'm Tracy, and with me I have Lee.
Hello everyone.
I have Darren.
What's up, Internet?
And I have Chris.
Hey guys.
How's everyone doing?
Good. We are buzzing.
Yes.
Excited.
Yes. So, right. I suppose we should just have a little intro.
Yeah, well, we kind of mentioned it, didn't we, a couple of weeks back at the end of the listener question show, that we were going to save one of the questions for.
And that's what we've done. So, yes, this question was from Cody. Thank you very much for this. So, let's assume Universal is building a 4th or 3rd park.
Right, let's get before we get into the general consensus. Will this new park be a 3rd or a 4th gate?
Universal will say 4th.
Yes.
What do you believe?
3.5.
I don't know because
I think it's a 3rd one.
I want to say
Volcano Bay's a water park.
Yeah, I want to say 4th, but Disney don't class their water parks as gates.
And that's why I would say it was the 3rd.
Yeah. I'd like to hear about a 4th gate.
Yeah.
Properly. So yes, let's assume that this 3rd park will have 5 themed lands. What would you like these 5 lands to be? They can be based on an IP or an original concept. The IPs do not have to be Universal owned. Phew. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Regards, Cody W. So yes, we also thought to flesh it out a little, we'd come up with a ride concept. I'd just like to say Lee also thought to flesh it out a little, we'd come up with a ride concept and a food location for each of our IPs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we should go in reverse order. Because then we finish on a high.
I haven't actually got mine in any sort of order, I'll be honest.
Well, I think mine was as I was writing them, I just ran out of steam, to be honest.
Wait, so we're not doing order, right? Because mine's not really ordered.
Okay, well, mine's in
Should
order.
we can, okay.
Anybody volunteering to go first?
Ooh, I will.
I was waiting for that. That's why I didn't say anything, because I
Go
thought,
on, Darren.
I know Darren's itching to get in.
I want to get this one out before anybody else does, I hope.
Uh-oh.
Darren.
This is the only one that's like close to something I think anybody might pick.
Uh-oh.
Ready Player One.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
I never even thought of that.
It slipped my mind.
Uh-oh.
It didn't slip my friggin' mind. I guess I'm putting that as my number 5 then, and not my number 2, which it actually is. But go on, Darren.
It actually was my number 2. Yeah. So yeah, basically my little trivia was like explore the Oasis and the stacks, open to basically any past IP. Also serves as a VR arcade consisting of past Universal attractions. So I thought a good concept for this would be like to have like a arcade, like a huge arcade in there that has classic arcade machines, and then also has VR simulators in there that simulate the old rides that have shut down.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Back to the Future, Jaws, that kind of thing. And then also to have an overarching ARG that you can download on your phone and play throughout the area as well to kind of unlock the keys yourself.
Ooh,
that is the future of theme parks right there.
That sounds amazing.
My ride concept for this one was the race, the full VR race simulator from the movie. So that's what you do is like you basically sit down in like one of those very blank looking simulators and wear a VR helmet.
Yeah.
And you get to choose your vehicle from across Universal properties. You could have the Bluesmobile, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Fast and Furious, Harry Potter, whatever you want. You know, you got tons of possibilities there. Have it be a legitimate racing game where you are racing the other vehicles, random tracks, and then track your stats with your Universal Pass.
Yes,
That's
please.
Pretty sweet.
I'll take that.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
And then for my food location, it was kind of hard to pick for this one, but I went with the Stacks for stacked deli sandwiches.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Awesome.
I can't say anything bad about that because I had it in my list.
Well, why don't you go next and just talk about your ideas?
So I went with Ready Player One because I think when we talked to Gabe and Nikki when we did our IPs they haven't used, that Ready Player One was something I think would make such a good theme park area. I mean, it's kind of already done for you, but it's basically kind of what Darren did. Obviously, you'd have like the stacks, and you'd want the IOI building as well. Is that how it's pronounced? I kept thinking, is that what it's called? The company, is it IOI?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't sound right. It seems that long since I've watched the film. Now, I went for an attraction rather than a ride.
Okay.
And it would have to be an upcharge because it's the only way it would work. But I want Universal to go up against Disney as far as the Star Wars void that they've got in Disney Springs and do a Ready Player One kind of total immersive VR experience like the void.
Yeah.
It would have to be an upcharge because otherwise I don't know what the logistics of getting something like that with a massive throughput would be. But I think it would work really well, and kind of what you could incorporate yours into it a little bit, Darren, and have that as part of that experience.
Yeah.
Where halfway through you get in, like they do, and we know where they're controlling the sort of robot-y things getting in the cars. You know, they show them, don't they, opening the doors. Kind of that similar experience in that as well. And then the food outlet. I didn't have specific foods, but I thought a restaurant themed to Halliday's Museum would work really well.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like on the walls, like a Hard Rock kind of place.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So there we go. I see. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the irony here, how we complain so much about screen rides, and the first thing we're all so excited about is a screen ride.
But it's different, isn't it? It's taking screens to that next level and making it an interactive experience rather than a passive one.
Yeah.
I think that's the one time when it's acceptable.
Absolutely. And you couldn't do it any other way with Ready Player One.
No.
Yeah.
And it's one area in a theme park rather than everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Chris,
Yes.
what have you got?
So this one, I feel may be on someone else's list, but I'll go for it anyways. A DC land, right? And one of my main reasons for that is so that Universal can own Marvel and DC inside of a theme park.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be cool to have, that. Obviously, they have a bunch of, material to use for a DC land. I think we've talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
One of the rides that I think would be kind of cool, and again, it's kind of going back to a simulator, but having the Batmobile ride, like the one used in Batman Returns, in Tim Burton's thing.
That would be cool.
One at the Penguin Road. I don't know.
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, I thought that was so cool to control an actual car like that. Obviously, do something a little different to make it, more fun and for bigger crowds. But yeah, that would be like a ride I'd have in there. And obviously, I'd want the whole park dark.
Yes.
Kind of like the gritty, Gotham, that kind of thing, but still make it pop. And I'm not sure that's easily doable.
Yeah, you could do.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, carry on.
No. I was just going to.
No, carry on.
Okay. And then for the food portion, it wouldn't be anything, super special. You'd have like sandwiches and stuff. One of the sandwiches would be the Batman and Reuben. And
wow.
I think that would be like the top one there. And then to like wash it down, obviously we're in the South Florida heat. So we need something, nice and cool. So we'd have a margarita stand called Mr. Freeze's Margaritas.
Brilliant.
And, have a margarita, Batman and Reuben.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'd be up for a DC land.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't got number 5, then let's go to number 4.
As they just took your number 5.
No.
Okay.
Mine just sounds really crap. So I'm not playing anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just listening. I'm just hosting.
Come on.
My number 5, bearing in mind that it's crap and hopefully get better. A property that is, hopefully they get better. A property that is quite hot at the moment. It's old, but this particular incarnation is quite hot, and especially on Netflix, especially with teenage girls and other people, because I know there's
30 reasons why.
Oh no,
10 reasons why.
No,
I'm not sure where she's going.
Riverdale.
All right.
Me and Jade are obsessed with it. And it's really good. And I've just got to the Archie comics as well. So I've, basically your area is just themed to Riverdale. You got the high school, you got the houses, the houses are going to contain the shops and things like that. My ride would be a coaster, the Serpent's Coaster. Now, unless you're familiar, you won't know.
Which I'm not.
You have Northsiders and Southsiders of Riverdale, which is the river. And the Southsiders have this kind of like biker group who are the Serpents, and they're all the bad guys, the into drugs and all of this lot and what have you. And then the Northsiders are all jocks and, cheerleaders and, sweetness and light. They're not really. So yes, we've got the Serpent's Coaster. So basically there's a fight between the North and Southsiders and you're going to ride it out. So if you imagine there's kind of sound effects or something going on. So somebody throws an uppercut, and that's when the coaster goes up into a loop.
That's cool.
So the coaster is actually reacting to the fight that's going on. So you're getting pulled this way and that way because you're going from north to south side. So, you've got to ride out the fight.
That's actually a really interesting concept for a coaster.
Oh, that makes me feel a bit better.
It is.
And there's a very obvious choice for the food, which is Pop's Diner, which is an old 50s style diner for classic burgers, shakes, and sundaes. So,
and then during Horror Nights, they can do that. The one from the comics, what was it, like Archie versus Zombies or something like that?
Yeah.
All right.
Or you could have the Black Hood comes into it, which has just been the latest season and stuff like that. Because it's very dark, actually.
Okay.
It's, yeah, I love it.
Cool.
So, yeah. So
there you go, Darren.
Something
just
different.
Speaking of Horror Nights, as far as like Ready Player One, that area, you could do The Shining.
Oh, yeah.
Settles in perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a dark DC Gotham
Oh my
area.
God, can you
That'd be
imagine?
amazing
That
in Horror
would be
Nights.
fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, especially if they had it pitch black and you just had to use little tiny torches or something to go around.
Just had the gates of Arkham broken open.
Ooh, wait till we go down this list.
Oh,
I like how we kind of managed to bring it round to Horror Nights.
well, of course.
Oh.
The thing is, it'd be interesting when they build the third gate to see whether it's a consideration or whether they'll leave it in the studios or whether they will think about putting it in the new park. It'd be quite interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Right, I'm not going to let us go in the same order.
What, so people don't steal people's
this
things?
is it. So everybody gets a fair chance.
Okay.
Right. So, for number 4, we are going to start with Lee.
Me.
Yes.
I'm going to throw this one out there because I'll be surprised if no one else has got it. Because I said before we started recording that I went a little bit. I didn't go too far out with mine. Stuff that I wanted, but then also stuff that potentially will end up in that park. And this is one that I think probably will end up in this park, and that's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Ah, yes.
I just think if you take that film and put it in a theme, it's perfect for it.
Never
for
get
a
me out
theme
of that
park.
area.
It basically themed to 1920s New York. You have the orphanage building. You could have the Ministry of Magic there. It would just work so well as an attraction, as a theme park land. That's where I went into this thinking, right, what properties can I think of? And I'll be honest, I've gone with all IPs because I'm not that creative. What IPs make a land that you want to walk in that's iconic enough that walking into it, like you know when you walk into Diagon Alley that you're in Diagon Alley. You know when you walk into Hogsmeade that you're in Hogsmeade. I can't really think of anywhere else in the parks at the moment that kind of evokes that. But I have no doubt that's the route that Universal will go with a new park, is iconic areas.
Yeah.
And as far as the attraction I put in, we've said before that Universal really lack any sort of slow-moving dark rides, and I do believe that this third gate will be aimed a lot more at families. I think, to be quite honest, I think it'll be Universal's version of the Magic Kingdom. I haven't gone quite down that route because I don't want it to be that kiddified. Yeah. But a dark ride through Newt's suitcase.
Oh, wow.
That'd be cool.
Potentially you could somehow do it where you enter the ride through his suitcase. Like
What-
the effect in Story Time with Belle, is it called, at the Magic Kingdom, with the mirror door thing, is stunning. Something along those sort of lines.
I was just going to suggest, like with 13, it's a drop,
Oh, you could
but
do that. Would be
it's a
interesting.
controlled drop,
Yeah.
so you're descending into the suitcase.
And then just have the different themed areas of his suitcase with the different animatronic animals in it. And to be honest, you could use screens in it, but kind of what we all said when Kong was getting built, that use them as a background.
Yeah, to add depth and...
Like the perfect example is that big winged...
Can't
I
think what it's
think what
called.
it's called. No, I can't.
No,
Where you could see...
with all the storm and...
You could be moving around and see it in the screen flying towards you, then as you round the corner, the animatronics there.
Yeah.
To use it as not the crux of everything. The merch you can sell in that of all those animals will be amazing. Obviously, I can never remember the name of it. What's the speakeasy bar called? The thingy pig. What's it called? There was the thing.
They had the door at Universal
Yes.
as well. The blind pig.
That sounds
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So you could have that in there. That would be awesome. That would be your sort of third gate equivalent of Finnegan's.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously your food location, and it's been set up. It's there. Kowalski's Bakery. How could
Without
you
a doubt.
not put that in there?
I would just sit and eat everything and get fat.
But I mean, she's created that film, and it's there. She just said, Universal, look, it's there. Just build it.
Yeah, they have to sell the strudel.
Because I would, and I think every other
yeah.
Potter fan in the world would spend a fortune in that bakery.
You could also add in, where they project onto the buildings, where they're rebuilding the building that's exploded.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
So yeah, you could have
using
the building explode and be then somebody stood
photo map, whatever it's called.
outside, actually
Projection
twirling the
Yeah.
wand at it, so it's rebuilding. The potential for that is immense.
Universal, if you're listening to this, and
Please
you
do
like
it.
the ideas, you can have them for now. I'm not bothered.
Yes. Chris, what's your number 4?
Okay. So number 4, this part is more of a, I guess, relaxing part of the park. So I was going with something like Atlantis or nautical based theme over here. So the idea behind this, you'd have a couple rides in there. You could put in like a water ride, right? And it doesn't have to be like, it could be like a Jurassic Park style water ride where you don't get too wet. Something like that. Then the other ride I had was, I was watching a recent video, Tim Tracker video. He was over in
Oh yeah, it looks
Tokyo.
amazing.
He was at Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yes.
And they have a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride over there where you're
Still
taking a
chasing.
submarine underwater.
Yeah.
Right? I thought that was really cool.
That's
Yeah,
very
it was.
interesting.
I was thinking about having like a dark ride, indoor dark, could be a boat ride. It could be something like traveling into Atlantis. And this is, and kind of Lee, going back on what you were saying earlier, like something, where you can relax a little bit, where you need
Yeah.
to cool down, that we don't have too many of those.
No.
Have something like that in there, and just, you'd really have to like knock it out with visually aesthetic, props and everything in this part of the park. Maybe even have some giant aquariums or something like that you can see, wildlife, things like that. And as for food, I mean, nothing really special here. I was thinking maybe have like this area of the park, like a sit down restaurant, one of the nice ones like Mythos. And it could be underwater. It could be, somewhere maybe in Atlantis you're eating, right?
That would be cool.
Giant squids
and the
special.
food here, could be geared towards obviously seafood and or vegetarians. It's like specialty diets. You can kind of hit that over here. Maybe even sushi, things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny
Cool.
because we watched that Tim Tracker video from Tokyo Disney Sea, and that park looks unbelievable.
Need to go.
I want to go there. That place looks really cool.
It
I know.
It's hard to believe it's not real, that it is man-made. It's,
It's stunning.
utterly stunning, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting you went down the Atlantis route and not thought, right, are we going to throw Aquaman in there?
I wanted to. I was just like, DC spilled over to this area too.
You can just be an Easter egg in the back there.
Yeah, you
One of
could
the
do.
things.
Well, hello. Okay.
Jesse, visit that park.
I'll be fighting with your daughter. Right. So my number 4 is quite similar. It's one of these ideas that I've always, when we've done these sorts of things, I've tried to bring it to fruition a bit more. And then we did this and I realised, because I had more ideas for it, and then I realised I've probably been influenced by Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yep.
But you all know that I really like my steampunk stuff. So I was thinking like a steampunk, Lovecraft, H.G. Wells, I love H.G. Wells, type area. So I'll pick my book up because I'm still on paper here. So, you're looking for a place that's quite dark because, it's all Victorian, isn't it? So, everything's brass and leather and a bit, I was going to say smutty, but by that I mean like coal dust, not
Okay.
carry-on films. Yeah, funny enough, the thing after that I've written is things to fiddle with. It's definitely not a carry-on film.
Oh, you mean like in the Transformers queue type?
Yeah,
of stuff?
but everything. If you go to the restaurant, there's knobs and levers, and my idea for the restaurant is it's touchscreen but steampunked up.
Right.
So you don't it's not touchscreen actually. You have to. It's like bop it. You have to twist something off,
that'd be
flick
cool.
it, and that's how you create your orders. So the restaurant, I've started to talk about the restaurant, so I'll start with that. So a restaurant now with whistles and bells. But it's just simple, hearty fare like it was at the time.
Yeah.
You drink it out of flagons and whatever. You've got gas lights that are popping away. I love gas light.
Yeah.
And Edison lighting as well.
Yeah, I love them.
But you're not going to have that bright, modern lighting because it wouldn't have been. So there's going to be dingy corners.
Right.
The whole land would have just this whole sense of adventure and discovery, and you'd be encouraged, like we always say to people, look up, look around, look down the little alleys. There's something to find everywhere. And my idea is a dark ride, and I really want this because it's one of my favourite films. So the vehicle is the time machine from the original film,
wow!
not
How
from the
did I
new
not
one.
think you'd go down that route?
I love this movie so much. You can keep them. You can keep the remake. It's garbage.
I've not seen it, either of them actually.
I've seen the trailer. That's enough. So you actually go back in time, and you see from the beginning of time, and you up to the future, and then you come back to present time, and off you go.
That would be awesome.
Instead of obviously there's safety restraints, but it's going to be a slow dark ride. So maybe it is just big leather belts with buckles.
Yeah.
And
But how does a DeLorean fit into the whole steampunk thing?
well, that is future. You are going back to the future.
Exactly.
That's part 3, wasn't it?
There you go.
Yeah. It does look pretty steampunky. Yeah.
Or maybe there's like some VR stuff in there, but you're actually going to have to go into like put your head in a diving bell.
That'd be cool.
Do you know that sort of thing? So it's kind of mixing. It's
I like that. That's cool.
Victorian modern.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, this is
like
where
it
I
a
was.
lot.
I was going. No, I want things to be different. I love all of that sort of stuff. I'm not a modern girl at all. Hence, still been writing down on paper. So, Darren.
Yes.
Number 4.
My number 4 is Back to the Studio.
Oh.
And this is a land based on Universal's roots, movie production. So we're going to have shows based on the history of movie production, special effects, CGI, everything like that from, the history to current. Think of like the horror makeup show, but more geared towards other kind of special effects and things like that. Would also like to have like movie sets and a tram tour set up in here. That kind of setup in the area, just to kind of get back to what Universal was originally intended for.
Okay.
I like
And-
All right. Yeah.
And for my ride on this one, since, Michael Eisner, that slippery swine, came over and literally looked over the fences to see what Universal was doing to open Hollywood Studios, MGM Studios ahead of time. Since they've just closed it, we're going to go ahead and take that back and get the great movie ride over to Universal.
Perfect. No, I would be so up for that.
And I was thinking of like a Universal style great movie ride, which would be a dark ride, but to kick this one up a notch is to use actual props from the movies.
Oh, yes.
So good.
You could rotate this out at least a couple of the scenes with new movies coming out and things like that, so you can rotate fresh props in and that kind of thing. Actual sets and things like that from the movies. I think that would be really cool.
Absolutely. It's something that you'd think like from a movie studio, something like that would have gone down a T. But I think the reason they didn't is because they didn't want it to seem to be copying Disney. But I would be so up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something
And
we've
this
clamoured
is-
for years.
Yeah, and it's a way for me to get that museum in here finally.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, the
So-
fanboys would. Yeah, I think it's one of those that really would speak to new audiences and old audiences as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, like I said, like you guys brought up, a dark ride, so a slow moving thing, something to sit in for a while.
Yeah.
I'd expect this to be a pretty long one as well, something to relax in the middle of the day kind of thing. And then for the restaurant, I decided to call mine the Producers Club.
Hey!
I like it.
And I figured that would be a more upscale restaurant, featuring
course.
dishes and cocktails inspired by or directly from movies.
Awesome.
I
We watch
actually
a
have
lot
some
of-
movie recipe books if you want to borrow them.
You do?
Yeah, there we go. And we watch a lot of Binging with Babish on YouTube. If you ever watch any of that, it's a chef guy that makes stuff from movies.
Oh,
And that's where I kind of got
wow.
the inspiration from it. He first makes it exactly like it is from the movie, and then he makes like a high class version of it, like one that's
Awesome.
actually edible.
I think we
Right.
might watch them.
I
That
am
sounds
I
interesting.
am actually writing that down.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I think it would be neat to have a restaurant based like that. So
No,
Just-
I like it.
Yes, I'm,
But you're
I'm
right.
on board.
It's one of the things that those two parks really do lack is somewhere to get out of the sun for a decent length of
Yeah,
time.
just- Yeah.
You've only really
chill a
got
bit.
the horror makeup show. Really, that's about it.
Well, once you get inside Simpsons ride, because you seem to wait forever in there.
Yeah, but there's nowhere like the Carousel of Progress or
No.
it's not there anymore. But Ellen's Energy Adventure, the
They've had a
they have
few
the one at
good
Lost
sleeps in
Continent,
that.
though. I can't remember the name right now.
Poseidon's Fury.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're still walking around
Yeah,
in
you're
it, aren't
moving,
you? It's
aren't you?
not somewhere to just sit down and just sit down and chill out, but still be entertained for 10 or 15 minutes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Even high in the
Yeah,
sky seems
right.
Troy. Train ride goes outside and you
Yeah.
and you hit in the heat.
Cool.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Where are we now?
Number 3.
So on to number 3. I'm looking there and I've actually put it on the screen. We're going to start with Chris this time.
Okay. My number 3 is it's a land. It's an IP. We were watching TV the other night. I'm like, this would be a really cool land. Futurama.
Ah! Oh, how did I
So-
not think
That
of
is
that
brilliant.
one?
That'd
Yeah,
fill a,
it's just
that'd fill a space.
Bum bum bum. tch.
yeah. It's so much in that show going on. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obviously the same people from The Simpsons, and that works out really well over there. So
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of cool. For a ride, I would do something like the Planet Express ship, and you're going on a shipment, and the shipment goes wrong.
Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out exactly how I'd want to do the ride on this one, just because I don't know if a roller coaster would work out well. I'd like something more themed.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to make it a VR thing, or not a VR, but like a screen-based ride.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was thinking somewhere in between, like where the Mummy's at, where it's like, it's a roller coaster, but also has a lot of props and everything in there
Yeah.
too. So you could be making different stops and whatnot. And for the food, it would just be like food with a space twist / comedy twist, like they do on the show. So, like the episode with the poplars, you can have that where
Yeah.
somebody's like, save the poplars. The other one's like, here, buy some poplars for $1.
Yeah.
Poplars on a stick.
Yes.
That's a really good. I was racking my brains to try and come up with something in the park. I thought we need something sort of spacey, stroke sci-fi,
Yeah.
Yeah.
more than Ready Player One. I thought Star Trek's not quite cutting it. I
Yeah.
couldn't get there.
Couldn't get there.
And I
And
thought I
then-
want something that's like The Simpsons, so you could have walk around characters, but I couldn't get any. I can't believe I
Yeah.
never thought of Futurama.
I love Futurama.
Yeah, and a bender walking around would be the best thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like, it'd be that park's equivalent of the Grinch. Because it'd be all
Yeah.
snarky
Yep.
and
Yep.
oh my god, that would be amazing.
Love
Yeah.
it. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, it's
Like
me. I'm forgetting.
I like that one.
No, I like that. Yeah, I'm on board with that. Mine's one that I think Lee's the only person in the world who's never seen it.
Mamma Mia.
Here I go again.
I couldn't think of the next line.
My.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's ABBA.
Oh, yeah.
Get on with it.
Anyway, so yes, I am going with Rick and Morty Land.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think it'd be quite popular.
I have no idea. I've never watched a single episode.
He will not watch it.
I didn't say I won't watch it. I just...
Oh, seriously.
I don't know. I like it.
I mean, the obvious choice would be to go down the Anatomy Park route, which is one of my all-time favourite episodes. However, I haven't. So, the area would have, meet and greets like Snowball, but Snowball from Lawnmower Dog. Because that was just awesome. And preferably if it could just be walking around by itself, that would be even better. Obviously Mr. Meeseeks, Mr. Poopy Butthole, because who doesn't love him? Obviously Jerry, Summer and Beth and Rick and Morty to meet. For a shop, the obvious choice here is the pawn shop that's owned by the devil. And it does tie in actually with Universal because the episode was called Something Rickard This Way Comes.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Well, that's okay. You just listen and
Lee, you
learn.
gotta watch it. It's really good.
It's so good.
I think I'll have to.
I think just on merchandising alone, your land is gonna kill it.
Yeah. And in fact, I just buy it all myself. So the food choice is obvious. Pickle Ricks.
Ugh.
Just pickles always. Nothing but pickles. Now I've actually gone for a show instead of a ride.
Okay.
And it's very obvious when you think about it. The show is Get Swifty. And this is where the giant head disrupts the planet, demanding to see a hit song performed. So it's a musical number.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
A terrible.
This is gonna be funny because I'm thinking this in Lee's perspective.
Yeah, he has no clue what I'm
It sounds
talking
like
Like,
absolute absurdity.
I kind of know who Pickle Rick is.
because we run around shouting it all the time.
And Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Well, that's 'cause your daughter's-
That's about it.
Mr. Meeseeks is the blue guy on Jade's t-shirt that she was wearing today.
All right.
Yeah. So,
They can even have like a hands-on how to make a fleeb.
yeah. His face. He's just going, yep, no, not a clue.
Sounds like...
I don't think we're selling it to him either.
It just... It sounds like the random thoughts that go through my head. A flea.
That's exactly what that show is.
Oh, geez, I don't think that's a good idea.
But the options that you could do there's so many because you could have, obviously, like Rick's spaceship. Sorry, the dog's snoring next to me. I wondered what it was. That takes you off to all the different planets, or you get zapped to somewhere, or play area could be the garage stroke workshop. There's just so many options.
Indeed.
And of course, hopefully soon we're going to have season 4 for more options.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
Imagine having a walk-around Rick character.
Just being snarky and drinking and drooling.
Yeah.
Just get the same guys that play Doc to play him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd be great.
Just give him a couple in between. There you go.
But yeah, there you go, Lee. It does have some very
I know.
some very loose ties with
I know.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Not enough for copyright infringement.
Exactly. Exactly. Darren's next.
Well, this is a quick one. This one I'm just calling Oktoberfest.
Oh, I'm in. I'll have a ticket,
And
please.
yes.
Annual pass.
Yes, basically, I'm taking a little bit of a page from the old Busch Gardens, and we're just taking Oktoberfest and combining that with the biggest and baddest German coasters we could possibly create, and just filling the land with that, like to the point where they're crisscrossing each other, like all the way around.
No.
I want this to be like a giant spectacle.
Now, having been to a German theme park as a kid, I'm in. So, yeah.
Yes.
You know how amazing that would be if two independent roller coasters crossed over each other's paths at the same time, like a Dueling Dragons?
They've
But
done
yeah,
that
just like
somewhere
Yeah,
in one of the
independently
parks in
operated.
America.
Yeah, isn't it one of the Six Flags? You've got something that goes through the
Like
struts.
a wooden one and then
Goes
a
through it,
steel one that
steel.
goes
Oh,
through
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's not Magic Mountain, is it?
No,
No?
I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah, I know which one you guys are talking about, though. It's like goes around the perimeter of the park, and kind of something like that. But like, I'm just talking about like filling this area with as many coasters as you can fit in there.
No, that'd be cool.
Small Cedar Point.
Now, I do have a question.
What?
Oktoberfest. Do I need an annual pass or just a month pass? Because is it open 1 month or the entire year?
We'll call that the loophole.
Year-round Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
So the rides are obviously the coasters, but came up with a fun one called the Bavarian Bloodhound, which of course is the tallest, longest, fastest standing inverted trackless freebinding reverse loop hybrid mag launch lev coaster ever made. Jesus. You can go ahead and slow that down, dissect it. I don't think it can possibly exist, but there you go. Yeah. And of course, for the food place, you have to have the fest hall, the full German Oktoberfest experience.
Oh, yeah. Sauerkraut,
meat plates, and
brats, and
beers. Yeah.
Just make sure that it's better than Biergarten in Epcot.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Cool.
So just a quick fun one there.
I like that one. Yeah.
Got to have coasters. So.
Coasters and beer. What's not to like?
Well, that's it. You stick them all in one area of the park, and then people who don't want to ride them don't have to go in, and people who do have a whole area for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. So what have you got for me?
Me?
You, Lee. Yes.
It is actually my number 3, but my number 4 I haven't done yet, so I'm going to throw this one out there because Chris kind of mentioned it as his number 4, I think it was. He went DC, and I think everyone expected me to do DC Land.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I thought it's too obvious.
Why I didn't go down that route.
And also too broad.
Uh-huh.
Like, I love Marvel Superhero Island, but it's trying to cram too much stuff in.
Okay.
So I decided I was going to go for one specific DC
I know
property.
where you're going.
Metropolis.
No, I went with Gotham.
Yeah.
And this is why I kind of went to say something earlier, Chris, and thought, no, I won't. I'll hold back, so I'll leave it till I get to this. You said it would have to be dark, because of course at Gotham it would be. And I think we've had this conversation before when we've talked about putting DC Land in somewhere. Kind of doing it Nocturne Alley style would work really well.
Yes.
Because then you could really control the darkness, and you could have the bat symbol projected up into the sky and stuff. And then as far as the ride, from now it seems like, well, from what Alicia said last week, originally we thought that Harry Potter coaster was going to be that Mac coaster that's Arthur and the Invisibles at Europa Park, and also the How to Train Your Dragon ride in Dubai. I would like to see that come over, because that ride concept works really well for a sort of family style coaster, but giving enough thrill that it doesn't feel like a kiddie coaster. Mm-hmm. And because it's a suspended coaster, you could have it that it's like you are Batman swooping through Gotham.
Oh.
Ooh. So kind of like we mentioned earlier with that, you could have Arkham Asylum as the breakout point, that all the villains have broken out of Arkham Asylum, and you're Batman swooping through the city, apprehending them all. So if you've ever seen the video of like the How to Train Your Dragon one very specifically, it can go from scene to scene and would work really well for that ride concept, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then the food location.
Uh-huh.
I still do not have a fine dining location in my park. So, of course, the Wayne Manor dining room would be your fine dining location. With butlers all dressed like Alfred.
So every table has an Alfred.
Yes. And he would be Alfred Pennyworth, your waiter tonight.
Uh-huh. Would you have like big roaring fire? And
it would have to be proper suits of armour and all, the paintings on the wall and stuff.
Now, can I ask, will it be proper cutlery and crockery, or would it be plastic?
No, it would have to be proper cut. It is fine dining. It would be their signature restaurant in that park.
I like it.
Everyone expected me to do something DC, so I thought I won't disappoint.
Okay. Right. Nice. Okay, let's take a little break just to...
God, we already up there.
Yeah, just to digest what we've already created. Just have a little listen to Mouse and Muggle.
Hey guys, Michelle and Robin here from Mouse and Muggle Travel Company. Sorry to interrupt this awesome episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
We promise not to bore you this time.
So, blah, 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 we sell vacation packages.
And blah, 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 we're experts on Universal and Disney destinations.
And blah, 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 our services are free to you.
But what you might not know, we're just a couple of super cool ladies who like to have fun and know all of the tips and tricks to make your vacation all you had dreamed it would be.
You can learn more about us at mouseandmuggle.com and fill out a quick quote request form while you're there.
Just be sure to let us know you heard about us from the UUOP. And remember, whether you're a mouse
or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
Welcome back, and we've got our top twos to go in our blue sky concept. So, I'm going first this time. Number 2. Right. This is my kids' area. Deadpool.
What?
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let me read that again. Sorry, I mean no kids' area.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah. Now, the ride to me is very obvious. Sorry, I've got to go straight to the ride because I want this so bad. It's a carousel. You ride derpy unicorns galloping around Deadpool's head. See where he's got the knife in his head? We're on all those derpy unicorns. And he's singing all his little tunes that he sings.
I'm trying to think. It must be Wham, is it?
Well, of course. Wham! Of course, yes. Would have Wham playing. Oh, I'm happy. I'm really happy now. I hadn't thought of that bit.
Yeah.
Food is obvious. Chimichangas, taco vans.
Awesome.
We do have a signature drink, but I don't think I'm allowed to say it because we're a family show.
Say it and I'll just bleep it out and people will have to...
If you remember in the bar where he buys a drink...
Oh,
when he sends it over...
yeah.
Sorry, I'll bleep it out.
Yeah. Well, people who are in the know will know what I'm talking about. I forgot where I was going now. I didn't write this down. What I was thinking earlier as well was... Deadpool liked to celebrate all of the holidays.
Oh, God, where are you going with this?
So we could have all the holidays getting celebrated, but not in the way that Deadpool and Vanessa.
No.
Vanessa?
Yes.
Yeah, Vanessa celebrate, because that would be a bit wrong. But, they celebrate all the holidays, so let's have all the holidays going on. Maybe that's even just the parade, is each float is a different holiday.
Okay, that would work.
And they throw in unicorns or the unicorn. Yeah, we won't go into what the unicorn.
All right.
And signature clothing will be Crocs.
Rubber.
I just thought of, with all his legal trouble, you could probably actually hire TJ Miller to be the bartender too. It's a permanent attraction.
Yeah. No. I've got to say, he works in that. I'm not a fan anywhere else.
No, I'm not. I like him in that, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yes.
You'd have to get like a good Deadpool character walk around too.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going unless it's Ryan Reynolds.
There you go.
Oh yeah, or the guy that does it at Comic-Con or whatever. There's always animated gifs of the guy.
I do believe we know one.
We do, but Ryan Reynolds. Hey, if Chris is having Aquaman.
He isn't though, is he?
Well, I am. If he loves me, he would.
Yeah, a Deadpool land would be so awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be like the anti-Marvel superhero
Absolutely.
island. It would be brilliant.
You know how much I love Deadpool, so Yeah. Right. So Darren, what do you have for number 2?
For my number 2, I have a land I'm calling Land X.
Ooh.
And this is my futuristic land. It's a futurist land that I am just going to totally hand over to Elon Musk to design.
Oh.
So it's going to feature SpaceX, Tesla, and the Boring Company, which I think would make for some really amazing attractions. And the thing, when I first came to Florida and went to Epcot actually for the first time, and I saw Interventions for what it originally was, and got to see VR and things like that, the future of telecommunications and all that, the internet basically, they told me in 1990 exactly what we're doing now. And it was a really cool thing. And I think it's an important thing, to have, given to the masses, considering where we are in the world nowadays, I think some educational and some smart futuristic ideas, to inspire kids would be a really good thing. So for that, I would like to make this land something like that. To show off like the latest like Tesla inventions and stuff like that, innovations and things like that. But the centerpiece, of course, would be the SpaceX Titan 100% to scale.
Awesome.
If you haven't seen that, it's an amazing rocket. Yeah. And that would be the ride. The ride would be either in there. I don't think you could actually put it in there, of course. You just have the entrance and then have it go to a different building, but just have like a G-force simulator, basically like a launch simulator, like you're actually in the SpaceX rocket taking off. And you could even do it from the Roadster that they had in the cargo bay when they launched it off to Mars. I thought that would be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, to sort of really showcase cutting edge technology. You wouldn't want anybody else in there, would you?
No.
Yeah. And then for like Tesla to have like a test track style thing where you actually don't have tracks and it's showing off, the driverless technology and stuff like that. In a very controlled environment that would be very safe for them, to show it off that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. The restaurant, I think you're looking at your standard space food restaurant.
Freeze dried fare.
Exactly. Stuff like that. The things I liked when I was a kid. The astronaut ice cream and stuff like that. So.
No,
that's really cool.
It is a really interesting concept because I would never have come up with that in a month of Sundays. I like that there's sort of the three of you have come up with original concepts, whereas I was like, I'm just going to go IPs because I'm not that creative.
But yeah, I think if you gave him the reins to it, he'd come up with some pretty amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
Probably fund most of it on his own.
Probably,
just being a part of it. So
yeah. Bonus.
Yeah,
right?
No,
and you'd again, it's that thing of J.K. Rowling with the Wizarding World. You'd have someone overseeing that land that has a vested interest in how well that land is built and maintained as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
Cool.
Lee.
Me. Right, I'm going to go with the one that I came up with today. I was struggling for one last thing, and I said I wanted something spacey. I've gone the exact opposite. And I was thinking today, what lends itself to a theme park area that's an IP, and I thought everything I've got is film-based. What TV shows are out there? And then it suddenly, the light bulb went ping. How have I not come up with this already? It's even a theme park itself. It's there. Anybody?
Westworld.
We've
had that. Yeah. That was mine in the previous show. Go on.
It just makes perfect sense.
Part got a lot more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It just makes perfect sense.
Current Westworld or film Westworld?
Current.
Okay.
Now, whether you could get... Well, you could get your team members as robots in the park. Obviously, they wouldn't be robots, but to have that sort of immersive live-action role-playing land...
Yeah.
If you could pull it off, would be amazing.
Creepy as hell.
And I still think, even to this day, for all the Wild West is, it was very 1980s.
I love Wild West stuff.
Still, I think with Westworld coming out now, it's got a bit of a resurgence, and it's still something that I think a lot of people are really, really interested in. To be able to step back into that era, a lot of people would get a massive kick out of. Obviously, your food locations build themselves. You just have your typical cowboy saloon. But as far as a ride, I think the park lacks a shoot 'em up. I love a shooting ride, so a Men in Black, a Toy Story Mania, that type of thing. Now, you could do this two ways. I thought potentially you could do a Hogwarts Express style ride where you're on a train.
Right.
But the window isn't a screen. You're basically going down a long 360-degree tunnel. It wouldn't need to be, probably a 180-degree tunnel.
Yeah.
But interspersed with live set pieces.
Okay.
Or a sort of slow-moving coaster themed as a horse and cart. So you sit in the
Okay.
back of it and have just your guns, shooting cowboys or whatever. You know how much I love a shooter,
Yes.
Clever.
and it's the ideal thing. I came up with another. We'll get into honourable mentions a little bit after. I came up with another one that would
Crikey,
have.
honourable mention.
I've got one that I came up with and kind of poo-pooed it a little bit because it had
Yeah,
potential but not enough. And that was going to be my shooter ride, but I think this works better for that attraction. So
Okay.
Westworld is just
Yeah.
the groundwork's, the prep work's done for you. Just build it.
Fair dues.
And if they can build animatronic people that act like real people and don't kill
Then they
people,
won't need any staff.
then do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it works out well in the series. That's all I'll say.
We haven't seen 2
Yeah, don't
yet. We're
spoil
going
it.
to
We haven't
binge it in one
started
go.
2 yet because Raymond's coming on. We're going to watch it all.
Yeah.
I
But
got to
yeah,
start it all together, and then I'll come back to you guys.
Oh, it's good.
Oh my God, it is
I've
so
heard.
good.
I want to. I want to.
Yeah. It's
Cool.
awesome.
Yep, there you go. Westworld.
Awesome. Cool. Chris.
Number 2. My number 2 has been mentioned already.
Oh.
Kind of. Yes. My number 2 is in old-timey steampunk era.
Ah.
So think Wild Wild West
Yeah.
and just exactly almost like Wild Wild West, right?
We're talking about the Will Smith film here.
That what?
Yeah.
The Will Smith film or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Cool.
there.
Awesome.
So, Tracy talked about it earlier. You'd have all the, steampunky, mechanical, gadgets, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The ride would be like a cool roller coaster themed ride that just when I thought about the roller coaster, I thought about the giant spider at the end of Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
As a roller coaster. Like if you were to deconstruct that and reconstruct it as a roller coaster, that would be how it would look. So it'd look very
Nice.
old and rustic and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm just always been a fan of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And what were you saying?
It would lend itself so well to an environment in a theme park as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for the food, I think the food's a really easy one. It would just kind of be either a branch or an extension of Two Thumbs
Yeah.
Yeah.
over there, right? Like it doesn't have to be a sit-down dinner area. It could be like a fast service, but Two Thumbs based. I mean, they already own that. They can even use the same theming from over there, the same
Yeah.
storyline that they're using, and build that into a
Yeah.
land. And I think that'd be pretty good.
No, that would work really well because you have like basically a Toothsome franchise in the other park.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So we're on to number 1.
Oh,
Are we already?
Yeah. Well, that's what comes before 2. Yeah.
or after.
Could come both ways.
Yeah. Right. Oh. This is where everybody's going, I hope nobody has got my number 1.
I don't think anyone will have
Yeah.
mine.
I think everybody knows what mine's going to be, but
Yes. I would stake everything on it.
Darren, would you like to go first?
Yes, I will. All right, so my number 1 has nothing to do with Back to the Future. How about that? My number 1 is called The Necropolis.
Ooh.
And this is my horror-based land with a rotating permanent house, scare zone themed land areas, Parade of the Dead every night,
Awesome.
rides based on horror properties from classic literature, movies, and games. So kind of encompassing all of horror. I would also like to have a concert venue built into here, for like rock bands and things like that come through, and maybe just give permanent residence to the band Ghost, which I've currently become obsessed with.
Yeah.
Because they would be perfect for this, and they all wear masks, so they could just franchise it out.
Yeah.
They don't even have to be there for it. For my ride, you brought it up a little bit earlier, Tracy, so you made me nervous. My ride is called H.P. Lovecraft: Awaken the Great Old Ones.
Oh, awesome.
And this is a fully animatronic dark ride based on H.P. Lovecraft's gods. Each one awakening and wreaking havoc in each scene.
Love
Of
it.
course, culminating with Cthulhu at the
Absolutely.
end. But
I
I'm
love
talking like
Cthulhu.
full, like next level animatronics for this kind of thing.
Awesome.
And just like full dioramas and scenes of them, just because you have Cthulhu like rising up out of the water. I think you could do like an amazing like 3-story tall animatronic with that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Just to see something like that, and at the same time be like a dark ride that you're slowly riding through as well. At the same time, I think this would be their like haunted mansion, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Darren.
So
I love it.
I'm surprised you didn't go down the classic monsters route, mind.
Yeah, I'm sure they would be featured around this
Yeah.
area as well. But yeah, and then for food, I had Leatherface's Smoke Shack Barbecue.
Oh, brilliant.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Questionable
Plates are like
origin.
his face.
Yes. Oh God. And yeah, they can just form the meat like they do like the Euro meat. They can just form that like, arms and stuff, and just have it roasting on a spit in the back.
Oh,
Would you like a little hip? Here you go.
That's awesome.
You could also have Freddy Krueger shish kebabs.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they serve them on the finger
On
gloves.
the
and you get
glove.
to
On
keep
the
the
glove.
glove.
Yeah,
That would be
Just like a
amazing.
walk around, Oh, that's great.
Oh, I like that.
So yeah, and I'm just picturing like the cemetery gates when you walk in, like, and of course this has to be a dark area like the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have guessed Darren had gone horror for his number
Yeah.
one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris, do you need to go next?
Yeah, I guess I should
Okay.
go next. I love Darren's idea so much that was also the route I was going.
Cool.
So yeah, scary horror based land. Again, I think he mentioned it. Think Haunted Mansion, but expanding that into like an entire area
Yeah.
with a Horror Nights twist. And I was not like the Walking Dead house like that. Just having that by itself is not good enough. Like you'd have something that I think can rotate. And again, he mentioned that. So I'm all on board with everything he said.
Uh-huh.
The only differences here or additions to his land that I would do, right, would be a ride called the Dawn of Evil, right? And this is a dark ride, doesn't have to be fast moving. And basically it's going through something like the inception of Horror Nights. So for example, you're going down, it's gonna explain, and they can obviously build a story upon this, but it's going to explain something like a wormhole or a portal opened up to another area that's been letting evil out slowly over time. And that's where we get these different themes and characters coming out in different years of Horror Nights because, the Caretaker got released or Jack the Clown is now out and that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool.
And we're just kind of learning history, made up history of Horror Nights and kind of bringing that all together. And I think that'll like really keep people satisfied when Horror Nights is not around because obviously Horror Nights does have a big following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's not a
characters are
thrilling
there
ride.
for you as well because you've got, you put all your icons, your Jack the Clown, your Caretaker,
Uh-huh.
and the storyteller.
Yes.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Very
And then
cool.
for eating,
Uh-huh.
this one's kind of cheesy, but it's a Jack the Clown themed restaurant, but it's more like outdoors. And it basically has like all the best like fair foods you can buy.
Oh, brilliant. Like carnival
so, like,
food.
Exactly.
That would be
Elephant
awesome.
ears, donut burgers, just basically
Yeah.
anything that's bad with the the underlying theme of like trying to kill you because it's bad for you.
Yeah.
Funnel cakes,
Nice.
definitely then.
Exactly. Like little twists on things like blood coming off of some stuff or, anything just to kind of make it not, appetizing. Although it does kind of play a little bit along the lines of Krusty's Fast
Yes.
Food Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all like that kind of food, but this one would be more on the darker side.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cotton candy with sugar glass in it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. I was going to say with rat tails coming out of it.
You
I
could
could
do
actually
all
probably
sorts
get-
with it, couldn't you?
It's not
You could. Mm.
awesome. I think we get together and make a pretty cool land here.
Absolutely.
The horror going on year round.
Lee.
You're going with me, are you?
Yeah.
My park overall has been kind of family friendly because I said I wanted to go sort of semi-realistic, but there's no real sort of kids area. And this one,
I had one.
mine, I'm not talking about yours. I was trying to think of an animated property because I didn't have any animation in there. And something, I think, Tracy, you'll like this a lot. A land based on the Leica studio properties.
Oh, very nice.
So Box Trolls, Coraline, Kubo and the Two Strings and Paranorman
Very nice.
would be phenomenal.
Yes. I like
How you would split
Yeah.
them up area-wise, I don't know, because they're not necessarily, other than, well, I suppose Coraline does to a certain extent. Box Trolls, not really. Paranorman's just like a
It'd
random
be cool
city.
to just have like a street and like have them just like all together for
Yeah.
some reason. Like come up with a storyline of why they're all together, but just have their own like very unique blocked out properties. Each all the way down the street would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I'd want to see, I'm a big fan of the sort of street performances that they do in the Wizarding World at the moment.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to see like the little street performance that Kubo does in Kubo and the
That
Two
would be
Strings
really good.
would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But as far as the ride, I would want it based on Kubo and the Two Strings because I think that's the property that probably has the most iconic look out of all of them. And I think a boat ride, like a Pirates of the Caribbean style boat ride
Cool.
through the story. And I know it's not something Universal usually do, is sort of potted Cliff Notes versions of the films, but I think with Kubo it would work quite well. But to definitely include the witch sisters in the middle of it would
Yeah.
be awesome because they are so... I need to see that film again because
Uh-huh.
I've still only seen it once. It's so cool. But I just think as an animated land, it's something that we haven't seen anywhere else.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's I don't think it's I don't think the properties that a lot of people actually know about. I think like everyone knows Disney and everyone knows like DreamWorks and all that sort
Pixar
of stuff.
and
I
all
think
that,
the Leica stuff's quite underrated and not really very well known.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if people discovered it through a theme park land, I think it would get the love it truly deserves because the animation style is stunning. The stories of them are just so heartfelt.
Yeah.
They are very, very underrated properties. And as far as my food location, I went with the cheese shop from Box Trolls.
Absolutely. I like
And if
it.
you every time you went in, you get an extra, you get like a little stamp on your card, and eventually you become, because they are like I'm trying to remember because I've only seen Box Trolls once, but there's they're like the stonemasons, aren't they? But a group of cheese enthusiasts that they all want to be part of this.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to watch this movie.
Oh, it's good.
Have you not seen it, Chris?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's very strange, but it's one of the ones that most people kind of say, but it's actually really
it's
good.
stop motion as well. Proper.
They all are.
Yeah.
I love them.
Brilliant.
Caroline was Tim Burton, right?
No, Caroline. They're all from the same studio.
Oh, okay.
Was it not written by him?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he had some link to it.
You sure?
You had that like
I
dark
think so.
kind of.
They're all kind of like that.
Yeah,
with
they
a
have
sort
a
of dark
side to
Tim
'em.
Burton-ish esque feel about them. What are we looking at?
Caroline.
I don't even remember. I think I've only seen that once.
Yeah, surprisingly, does not look like he was involved at all.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Hmm.
Feels
there you go.
very Tim
It does,
Burton-esque.
yeah.
It does. You're right.
Cool. I only saw a little piece of that one, but I have to watch that one as well. I know that one looked kind of cool.
Oh, right. It was Henry Selick, the guy who did The Nightmare
There you
Before
go.
Christmas.
That's where I'm. Yeah.
Oh,
There
Okay.
you go. That kind of explains
Yeah.
it. Because everyone thinks The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Tim Burton film, and it actually wasn't.
No.
wow. You could actually even have a Michael Jackson show because they made Moonwalker way back in the day.
Okay.
Did not know that.
I was
And this is his
obsessed
kid
with
zone,
that.
so it's perfect.
Oh,
And on that note, oh,
you got Corpse Bride too.
oh, did they?
Yeah.
So there, I think that would be a fantastic land.
I'm on board.
Let's do it.
Right. So the final number one. I wonder what it is.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
I
Darren!
did think about a Tarantino land, but I don't know whether it would work.
Well, you wanted to shoot him up.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that type of shooting.
No. Right. It will be no surprise to anybody that I've gone with Snoopy Land.
No, it hasn't.
I thought about Snoopy. I've called mine Ghibli Gardens. You all know my love for Ghibli. Now, I have decided to just stick with my favourite director, which is just about everybody's favourite director of the Ghiblis, Miyazaki. So we're looking at Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, Porco Rosso, Ponyo, love Ponyo, Castle in the Sky, Princess Mononoke, The Wind Rises. Right?
And some of them are pretty gruesome.
Uh-huh. So I'm going with the dark ride here.
Okay.
So you would have actually vehicle choices. I'm looking at it being a continuing rolling load.
Say a cat bus.
So your vehicle choices would be Kiki's Broomstick,
Cool.
Cat Bus,
A bit awesome.
Haku,
I don't know what that is.
the big white dragon
All right.
stroke boy from Spirited Away. Various aeroplanes, because
Yeah.
aeroplanes just feature heavily everywhere. Big boar or other large
Animals.
animals from Princess Mononoke. A submarine type thing, like from Ponyo.
I don't remember
I
much
can't-
about Ponyo, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I tried to get Jade to watch it today so I could actually reacquaint myself. So you'd be just riding through iconic scenes. You could race Porco Rosso in his plane. So you'd get those speed bursts. You could charge with Princess Mononoke. You'd see Calcifer, you'd see Turnip Head, Gigi, Ponyo, all of the characters. You just see them, dotted about.
For anyone who's not familiar with Studio Ghibli, they'll be going, who?
If you are not familiar with Studio Ghibli,
Turnip Head.
before the next show, I demand you go and watch at least one. Because
If
they
you
are
were
stunning.
recommending one Ghibli film, Tracy, what would it be? I think I know.
It's difficult. You think I'm going to say My Neighbor Totoro.
That's the one I would tell people to watch.
Kiki's Delivery Service, I absolutely adore.
But I think to get a real good idea of what Ghibli is, you've got to say either Totoro or Spirited Away, I think.
Yeah. However, the very first one I ever saw, and it's always got a special place in my heart, is from up on Poppy Hill.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful because it's actually rooted in reality. But it's just stunningly drawn. So the whole area could be lots of natural, grasses and trees and bushes and shrubs. Lovely buildings, but they could be painted in the colour palettes of Ghibli.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it
so
would be stunning.
So you'd get this beautiful, calming place. Of course, you're going to have places that are very dark, like in Princess Mononoke, because that film, that's kind of like the Bambi of the Ghibli films. Although Grave of the Fireflies apparently is much worse, and I've got that, and I haven't been able to bring myself to watch that one yet. I'm not emotionally stable enough yet. The food choice is absolutely obvious. Kiki's Bakery.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that. But you've got to include ham sandwiches because Ponyo loved ham.
Ponyo was a fish.
Ponyo was a little fishy by the sea. But Ponyo, all she said was ham. She loved ham.
Okay.
So yes. Ghibli Gardens.
I like the name of it, actually. It works really well.
I want that so bad. I mean, I could have written so much more. I could do all 5 lands on that. So, yeah. So, honourable mentions. Oh, horrible mentions, as I nearly said there.
Horrible mentions.
Yeah.
I'll just throw a quick one. I went with Kingsman for a long time.
Oh.
I thought
Nice.
if you could theme your sort of main area into it as like a typical London street and then have the actual tailor shop as your entrance into the land, but then have the sort of that weird tube transportation system to the Kingsman area, and then have some sort of shoot 'em up sort of Men in Black style ride, but I was like, because the eatery was pretty obvious. It'd have to be McDonald's, whether you like it or not. If you're going to do it for Kingsman, it would have to be McDonald's. But I kind of decided against it.
Or a British pub.
It'd have to be McDonald's when you think about the film.
Yeah.
Oh, a stunt show that takes place in small, like, they just have like a series of the little British pubs and like 20 stunt actors.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
And they
cool.
all just go in and do that. You just sit on the side tables and watch them just duke it out, and that'd be great.
Oh, I need to watch that film now. Can we watch it tomorrow night?
Or parachute jump.
Yeah.
Now you want me having a World's End land now.
No, this is what I considered.
Oh, the whole Cornetto trilogy.
Ah,
Yeah.
That would be
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah. Sponsored by Walls Cornetto.
Yeah.
I thought about that because I wanted to get zombies in there somewhere,
Yeah.
but I didn't.
That was the only other one I came up with.
I didn't come up with any others because I struggled to get 5, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It's
I
actually-
didn't go too far.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tougher than you think.
It is, especially when we've been going this long and we do these things every now and again. And we come up with new land ideas and trying to come up with something that you haven't thought of before.
Yeah. Like I say,
Yeah.
I came at it from a point of view. It's like I didn't just want to throw a property out there because I loved it. I wanted something that would make an iconic land, a land that didn't just look like a generic theme park land, that when you walk into it, you know immediately where you are.
Yeah. Well, I was looking through my books because there's some series of books I absolutely adore, and obvious choices of things like Hunger Games and all
Yeah,
that.
I thought Hunger Games as a land would be amazing. It's got so many iconic locations, but I couldn't think of an attraction or anything.
That's the creche, isn't it?
Probably is, yeah.
And
I told you, that's the child care center.
Yeah,
and
the kids club.
one of my favorite series is a Garth Nix series, which is Keys to the Kingdom. If anybody's never read it, seriously go and pick it up.
Isn't that a Disney thing?
No. So you've got I forgot what the first one's called. I can't even read it from here. Nope, can't read it.
Anyway.
It's basically about a young necromancer and how she has to keep descending into the underworld, and it's one of these books that is written and it's so visually powerful that I actually thought it would make a really great land, but because so many people would have heard of it, that's why pardon the pun, I shelved the book. But yeah, I'd like to do some more literary stuff, but of the lesser known stuff. But then that's to create a land, you need stuff that's well known, don't you?
Not necessarily.
Anyway,
Cool.
yes.
I think we did well to get through sort of 20 lands without really any major crossover. There was only really me and Darren with the Ready Player One that was a direct sort of...
Yeah, Chris and I were similar on.
Yeah,
on
Darren
one
and Chris
and
with
yeah.
theirs as well.
So yeah, I enjoyed that.
Anyone come up with a name for their park?
Universal Orlando Escape.
I was trying to work
yeah,
fantasy
no.
in there. I'd like Universal's Fantasy Island. I would kind of floated around there, but never got past that really.
Lands of Fun. I don't know.
Well,
Yep.
we are for hire here. So
Yes.
Universal reaches out.
Yeah, let's just cut to the chase and just call it Harry Potter Land. 'Cause that's what
We like all those ideas, but we're gonna scratch them all off. And make it fantastic.
Right, I guess before we get any sillier, I shall wrap this up. So, yes, thank you for joining us for show 304. Can't believe we're in the 300s. Wow. So for Lee, Darren, Chris and myself, this has been the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Cut, print, that's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.